is about what you're going to see. I have really the fortune, the pleasure of being the Associate Artistic Director along with my good friend and colleague Sheila Rohan of the Nanette Bearden Contemporary Dance Theater. And I just want to give you a brief history about the company and what you're going to, and then kind of overlay what you're going to see before you see, since this is a conference on love. The company was founded in 1976 by Nanette Bearden, and she's the wife of the renowned African-American African-American artist who is most known for his collages, Romare Bearden. And she was an artist in her own right. Her medium was dance, and she loved to see the moving image. And her husband not only was such a multi-talented artist, but also loved his wife so much that he indulged her this frivolity, this dance company. And not only would helping support it financially, but lending his artwork, lending his skill as a set designer, costume designer. And to some extent, Romy had his own ideas of how dance should be. He did sets for Alvin Ailey, for instance, for dance. And so we were always very pleased when he had an input into the dance company. When she started the company, it was more of a collective. It was great dancers who really needed a place where they could experiment and do things in low pressure situations, whether it was to expand on their choreographic skills or their performance skills. And Mrs. Bearden gave them that opportunity. Somewhere around the line, I had the pleasure of meeting her and her husband in the early 80s, when I was just basically starting my career. And they were astute enough to realize that I knew what I was doing. And I was going to be a wonderful artist. And I needed some support. And slowly but surely, I worked my way into choreographing for the company. And we evolved quite a few works that not only dealt with Romy's works, but dealt with jazz. And they were both jazz aficionados. They loved jazz music. And Romy had an affinity growing up in Harlem for jazz nightclubs and the whole idea of how it fit into the African-American cultural experience. And even today, music is one of our most powerful tools to communicate, whether it's jazz or hip-hop, rhythm and blues, country western, tell good stories. So these traditions maintain. Now the work that you're going to see today is based on a Romare Bearden 6-panel collage that's part of the permanent collection of the Museum of Metropolitan Art in New York City. The work is called The Block, and it's based on his impressions of a neighborhood. And he was sitting at a friend's house in Lenox Terrace, which is an apartment high-rise, looking down at a street, and that street is Lenox Avenue between 132nd and 133rd, and he liked the shapes of the buildings. Now, being this incredible artist, realizing that life does not have to mirror art, sometimes art is life, he rearranged the buildings the way he wanted to get the shapes that he wanted and to tell his particular story. And in his block, it's a universal block. This block could be in Harlem, it could be in China, it could be anywhere in Europe, it could be in South America, because it's the universal block. It represents all the things that a neighborhood has, the places that people congregate when they eat, the places they go when they worship, where they live, how they interact with each other. And in my research on this particular block that we were going to do, each panel tells a different story. And I had the privilege of sitting with this artwork when it was at the Met for a while and just enjoying it. And every time I saw this work, some other piece of the genius of Romare Bearden just jumped out. A person in a doorway revealed themselves. Two people in an upper window greeted me. So it was an incredible experience. And the images that you're going to see today are from the 5th panel. I wish we had brought some slides and we could show you the block because it's incredible and show you the 5th panel. But on this 5th panel, the buildings are very rectangular, the shapes he made for these buildings. And one's a long rectangle that goes cross, another one goes up. And as you go into the apartment, as you go up, on the first floor, there's a large picture window that looks out at the street of this. And there is a woman who's looking out the window and a man standing behind her. It's a very kind of foreboding feeling in that window. So that couple is in apartment 1A. And in this apartment, there's abuse. There isn't any. The love has changed and changed and become a dependency. And you know what's strange about abuse? People, when they're being abused, it's such a slow process that during the process of abuse, whether it starts out as neglect and then verbal and then becomes physical, sometimes you almost become addicted to the situation and you can't relieve yourself from it. So in this apartment, a woman's only escape from this misery is she has an album, and that album are photographs of the past times, and she lives in those memories. Now, the people who live directly above their apartment, this guy needs no Viagra. He just can't wait for his wife to get home and they can start their ritual. He just can't. I mean, if she burnt dinner, he would eat it gladly. There's nothing she can do in his eyes that's wrong. He lives to be with her. That's his best friend, that's his companion, that's his life. The best part of him is there. So he can't wait to get home and see her. So as we see this couple, he beats her home. Well, he doesn't beat her home. He gets home before her. Let's rephrase that. You don't want to confuse it. And as he gets in the apartment, he happens to look out the window and sees her coming up the walkway. And I got this image because when I was a kid, I had a puppy. And as I went to school, that puppy would jump from window to window all the way across the apartment till I was out of sight. Just loved me so much. And this guy is like that with her. Just can't wait for her to get in the apartment. So I set it up that way for him. And then I don't want to give the scenario away. We would rather it show you this. Now, I'm going to mention these people ahead of time. Because when you see them, I'm so honored to be on the same stage with them. Sarita Allen and Dudley Williams, both are principals from the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Both had illustrious careers with the company, and they knew Mr. Ailey. Diane Harvey worked with the Ailey Company, but really, I have to say how I met her was with her connection with Forces of Nature, the company that she helped found with her husband, and that they still work at all of the holistic way that they move and dance. And when you've known someone for over 20 years and their spirit is still the same, and you realize that you're in the presence of a wonderful power. So these are the great people that you're going to see that I'm so fortunate to be with today. And so let me get off the stage. I'm going to take these things, because this guy he's had a very hard day. Thank you all for indulging me, and I'll see you in just a second on the other side.